Good afternoon, YouTube. Jamal George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube, folks. This is I think this is the last week of the month. It's the last full week, as you know. Seeing like August, July it's just about done, and time is flying. Folks, it's just sometimes it surprises me. So. Today we're going to have a discussion. As you know, I watched the Chicago Pro. I don't know if any else watched it. It was a pretty good show. It was a 3-day event because they started on Thursday. They did the Masters, and then they did Masters for most other divisions, and then they did women's physique, and I think they did figure, and then they finished off with women's bodybuilding on Saturday. So it's a pretty long show. I had to pay 3 pay-per-views for it. If I knew that, I was probably to skip the Masters. But as you know, as a supporter of women in bodybuilding and on content, I always want to pay attention to what's going on. So anyway, folks, we're going to have a discussion about the Chicago Pro. If you watched it, want to get your thoughts. Here we just got here, my man. He just popped in. My brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams.
What up, dog?
Yeah, what up? Y'all know the Midwest Monster, aka Scuba Steve, aka the Black Hulk Hogan. But I didn't start calling him Black Hulk Hogan from now on. But anyway, we have him. He is a judge, and I often like to get his critique and his thoughts on bodybuilding. And he's married to IFB Pro female bodybuilder, and his wife, she got her pro card at Chicago. And that was back in, was it 2017?
4 years ago. So
2020? Was it 2017? I think it was
2020.
2020. Not 2020, because it was the girl who had almost fainted on stage, got her pro card 2020.
Tina's been a pro for 4 years, almost 5 years now, something like that. I don't know.
So I think about maybe about 2018, maybe because but I try to remember who she wasn't the first. It was another lady from Romania who who won the Miss International first, and then Tina won it the next year. But
Yeah.
anyway, he's here. We'll give a critique. We'll talk about the show. I did watch the show. It was like I said, it was 3 days long. They did Masters first, and they did the women's bodybuilding, no, actually physique, and they did women's overall bodybuilding, and also you had the Miss International. And we just picked up a new pro, a young lady who just got her pro card at the Miss International. I'm gonna pull her up in a bit. Her name is Kaylin. I forgot to say her last name. Uh, you know, she earned her pro card at the show. Kaylin is something like, yeah, I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it is. And I'm gonna pull her up. And she's now the new IFBB pro in women's bodybuilding. And I wish I had some video footage from the show. It's kind of scattered. Most channels will focus on it, but it's kind of scattered here and there. And we're gonna pull her up in a bit. And here she goes. Her name is Kaylin. If I get a name wrong, I want to pronounce it wrong. High Stellar, High Stellar, I think it is. I hate to mispronounce people's names. And she is now IB Pro. She turned pro at the Miss International on Saturday. She won the women's heavyweight division. A friend of mine, Yetta May, was competing in lightweight. There was 5 competitors at the show. She was one of them for women's heavyweight. And from your look of it, brother, you think she's more closer to women's bodybuilder, or she could be in physique in the future?
I look at her as a women's physique competitor, but here's the thing: when the numbers are as thin as they've been in past years, what I realized at the Chicago Pro, looking at some of the pictures from the men and women, that they were all from the amateurs to pros. They were going with condition, and she's conditioned. Will it take her some time? I don't know how tall she is, for one. But she's going to actually clearly have to put on some size. But right, if I was to look at her, I would have thought she was a women's physique competitor. But again, she came in condition, she came in shape, and she won it. So she's a pro now. So again, at the end of the day, and when you turn pro, you have an option. Once you fill out that pro card, some people drop down, some people go up, as we've seen Ashley uh, the girl who actually just won the Chicago Pro, Sherry, went from women's physique to women's bodybuilding. So you could do it. So all depends where she feel that she'll end up at, or how she
Yeah,
do, in a
yeah,
crowd, a
yeah.
crowd of professionals anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is my friend Yedame Abdul. She competed both in women's body and women's physique at the Chicago Pro. She competed, she won the overall in women's physique, and she was best poser. And then she won in women's lightweight. But there's only 2 competitors at the show, and she was one of them. I think it was middleweight. And she looked really good. I mean, I was hoping she'd get a pro card because I think what it was, I don't know why. It used to be at the Miss International, you win your class, you get your pro card. And I think because it was only her and another woman in middleweight, they didn't give the pro card. I know last time it was like 3 women in one show they got a pro card. I don't know. And then last year that one girl only did it, and she
Oh, so they only gave out the overall, huh?
yeah, I believe it's to get to the overall, and she looked really impressive. I mean, this is from her routine, and I actually invited on here. I hope she comes here because I might just send it to her phone. I thought I said delete, but and she's a great lady. We interviewed her a while back. We become good friends. I think she really looked really impressive. And here she is. Yeah, this is what she won for the overall. Let me see, post it.
It's number 13, Mary Melamed. Your winner, number 12, Kenyatta Abdul Aziz.
Yeah, Kayada Abdul Aziz. That's her name. And I hope that is her. And she, I got a pop. No, must have been you. No, my brother popped out. There you go. Yeah. So,
So did
you
they only
know,
give out one overall? Is that what it was?
well, she went overall for physique. That means she's qualified for nationals, but they didn't give her a pro card for uh, women's bodybuilding in middleweight because I think it was only two competitors, her and another lady.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Because I thought it used to be. I think sometimes it was like I remember this one show was like she was there last. Was it last year? Was it no year before? It was in 2022. A friend of hers was competing in lightweight, and it was her and another friend of her, a friend of mine's, Amanda Schnooks. They both competed in lightweight. It was her and another lady, and the lady who won got her pro card. She won the overall. That was the year that tall chick, Christina Nally, competed, and she didn't win the
Yeah.
overall, but she did win her pro card in the heavyweight division. And
Interesting.
Christina made her debut. I don't know if maybe because there was only two competitors at the show, that's why. I could be the
Probably.
possibility. Yeah, two competitors in middleweight. If maybe there was a third person, it might have made a difference. Like I said, but it did last year. They did give the girl the title because she was the only one competing. And yet, it's a nice person. I really like her. She's really nice. This is where she won for the women's bodybuilding lightweight. But she didn't get a pro card because I looked at it and said, "Where's the pro card?" But but I'm proud of her. She's a good lady. She's a good person. She went through a lot. She was overweight when she was younger, and she lost the weight. And this is a picture from 2019 to 2022. She last competed, and this is to 2024. And she's really has come a way. I mean,
Yeah, she looks really good.
yeah, it'll be good. So, but anyway, the focus is on the winner of the show who won the overall for women's bodybuilding, and that is Sherry Priami. And this was, like I said, for Sherry, I think truthfully, this was vindication. As you know, Sherry, she took second to Anastasia Levinova. And this is for the final pose down at the show. And Sherry took second. No, Sherry took won this show. Hunter Henderson took second. Mela took third. Mita Kodri was fourth, and finished out the top five is I think her name is Keena Squirry, and there was like 10 ladies here, and one lady I think pretty much they were supposed to be at one point I thought it was 12 on the list, but I think one of the ladies just did a couple of ladies just did strictly the masters and skipped doing the open, so it went down to 10.
I see.
Yeah. Impressive. I think the final pose down wasn't as good. I don't know what is it. The final pose downs are just not as exciting like it used to be. Especially among the women. It used to be really like you see right here, Hunter. She's like in the back a little bit, but push out in the front. Do something. Don't stand off in the
Well,
corner.
well, the girls you had before have personalities, and these girls are a lot of new faces that don't necessarily know how to entertain the crowd. So
Yeah,
my
and this
eye,
is
and I think some of it has to do with they would know where they're placing at, so they're a little bitter.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because this thing is you're not just competing against each other. You're also entertaining us, the crowd. And congratulations, Sherry. I think she deserves it. I mean, she really, to me, I feel like she should have won Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah, but I'm not a judge. I'm a fan, and sometimes you don't go by our feelings. You go by what you see, what the judges see, because you're a judge. You understand that. But
Yep.
like I said, the one lady who I met her last year, and this was Christine Nally, and this was her pro debut. Christina is a major in the Air Force in the Army, but her account is private, so I can't get onto it, pull up pictures from it. You know, I could try to follow her, but she won't follow me because I met her a while back, and we wasn't on good terms after that. But I think all ladies look impressive. Here they took the pictures of some of the uh, top four competitors. As you know, you have Mela, Lisa, Sherry, and Hunter. And for your aspects, I'm gonna pull up his picture. What do you think of Sherry's conditioning? She really look at she was better conditioned compared to Portugal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she was better conditioned, and she was just harder than Maya and Hunter. I mean, way harder, way more conditioned. And like I said at the beginning, when you look at all the competitors that won these classes, it was the judges were clearly looking for condition, and she brought it in. She brought the whole complete package.
Yeah.
And I mean, she wasn't very far off in Portugal. Like I said, I thought she should have won Portugal as well. But she came back and redeemed herself at this show. And it's funny because somebody was saying how nice she was being backstage because I think she knew she had won. But usually last time I interacted with her, she wasn't so nice because she lost to Michaela at Atlanta. That was the last time I seen her. But
Yeah.
again, she's a top five Olympian. So respect and kudos to her hard work.
hmm And Hunter, she was there, and and she looks very impressive. I think one thing is, I mean, I know you might understand that. I think she might be a little soft in the glutes.
Yep. Well, and
Yeah.
and and here's that's crazy because her and Christina Mendoza reminds me so much. They train at the same gym clearly, and I think that her Joey and Christina work with owner Posen, or one of them works with their owner Posen. They're at Dragon's Lair, but that's the problem. She has the size, but you have to bring the conditioning, and she was just not. She was soft. I mean not soft, but she was not conditioned like Sherry was, and Maya the same way. I mean Maya's conditioning from the waist up, amazing. The problem with Maya is that I love Maya. She's one of my girls. The problem with Maya is if she can get hard from the bottom, it's wraps. It is fucking wraps. But it's like when she was at Worlds last year, and me and John Simmons was saying the same thing. If she can bring that lower half in, like her upper half, because clearly she's put on some size, it's game over at this show. She wins this show hands down because she's bigger than Sherry, but Sherry just had better conditioning from the overall package, and that was the deal. And she Hunter and her were I'm sure it was close between the two of them, but conditioning at this show was clearly what the judges were looking for. Clearly.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think the judges are looking more for conditioning over just size. And
Yep.
like I said, I'm a fan of Mela. I think she has a beautiful physique. I also say that she reminds me of one of my favorite bodybuilders from back in the day, and that was Vicky Gates. I think
Yep.
yes, the eyes, the build. She's just a little bigger than Vicky was. Now, as you
Yeah.
know, one lady who also I think you know of, Lisa Coldry, and she looked pretty good in condition, but I
Yeah.
think she still might be, just maybe. I don't know. I don't know what are the judges looking for. If she has conditioning and has some of the sizes, because last year she was double dipping. She was doing women's physique for half a minute, and she went back to women's bodybuilding. And it's just I think she won her first Olympic qualification at Toronto back in 2022. And I don't know. I think she still needs some things to work on.
Yep. Density, muscle density, more size, especially when you're standing next to, Sherry, who's super short too. So, you got no, I don't know how. Again, I don't know how tall. Heather's not that tall. I think Maya's probably like 5'7", 5'6", but Sherry's like, she's like four something, maybe 5 foot at tops. You got to understand that height becomes a very, very important thing. That if you're a taller girl or bigger girl, you're going like Tina. We understand that. We have to keep her growing to a show because the last few shows that she's done, she's gotten smaller going into shows where she needs to stay full. So so when you're a taller guy or girl in this sport, you have to keep growing because you shrink down and you lose everything, you lose the fullness, and that's just not good. But I mean, she looks damn good, and but again, this is a good lineup. So I think she was fourth, so coming in fourth place is not a bad finish for her.
Yeah, coming fourth is pretty good because I think the last show she competed was Europa Championships, and that was the one
Hmm.
that Chelsea won last year. And I think she
Yep.
was maybe sixth or seventh. maybe 8.
Yeah.
And and she has that. She really has grown. I think she was a physique competitor, just like Sherry and a couple of others, but she has really grown into women's bodybuilding. I think you know conditioning size is important part about being in women's bodybuilding compared to being in physique or any other division. And
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, this is the sad thing is that you're seeing some quality girls like showing up at these shows, George, and that's where this getting rid of this point system hurts them because if you say there was 10 girls at the show, how many girls have qualified, how many shows are left? If you have that point system just for women's bodybuilding alone, because there's some quality girls who are not going to get in this year because if you don't win, you get in. So, like, I think I imagine Maya will do Tampa, probably Hunter if she still has a fire in her belly. I don't know if she's planning on doing one show, because I know she was really banking on something I read on her social media that she was hoping to qualify for Olympia at this show, but you run into a buzzsaw like Sherry because Sherry's his condition and she's a vet, and Heather took off some time. And so it's impressive that the time that she took off, she looked that good. But again, she doesn't have to worry about size. She has to worry about condition. Maya has to worry about and my if I was if the talk to Maya, I'd be like, you don't have to worry about your upper body. Worry about the waist down going into the shows because if you dry out, tighten up, and I said this last year about Maya at World Championships, it's wraps for a lot of girls. She's a top 3 girl. She can bring in her legs and her hamstring and glutes, but when she turns around, she looks unbelievable from the front. But when she turns around from the back, she just has to get more conditioned, drier, tighter. And I get it because that's what I'm focusing on right now. It's just getting my lower half just dry and tight and conditioned because that's what it takes to win shows. You win from the back.
Yeah, because you often the back. If you look at a good example, someone like Teresa Vasic, she comes in great condition from the back.
Yep.
And that I think that was I remember that year when she competed against Rashana. Her and Rashana were the last two. That was the year
Yep.
when the Chicago Pro was in Atlanta,
Yep.
and they went with Teresa because I think I interviewed did I interview after her? I think I interviewed Rashana after that show, maybe a few months afterwards, and I felt like Rashana has the better condition, especially for the front. But then we turn around and you're still a little soft in the glutes. You
I
don't
don't
have
like
the
talking about that show.
yeah.
'Cause that's the year that Tina like if Rashana would have won, Tina would have been in, but Teresa won, so Tina got bumped out by 1 point. So
Yeah, yeah.
bittersweet.
I know she's really. I mean, I was talking with her. Uh, what's that year when they had the last year they had Omaha, and I was talking to Tina. I
Yeah.
said, Tina, why don't you go ahead and do the Omaha? She said she was only like, was it 2 hours away
Yeah, we're
from?
2 hours away. But here's the thing. It's a hit and miss with these damn shows these days that you don't know who's going to show up. I mean, and it was one of those things. You're right. We should have jumped in there because she could have won that show. But we think it's 2 girls or something. Like and they weren't very conditioned and in shape. But you just don't know. And then when you're prepping for shows, it depends where you're at. If you could just jump into a show, I don't even think Maya was planning on doing the Chicago Pro, but she jumped in there and and you know she lost. So she has to do like you said. I think you said there's a show overseas, and there's Tampa that I think she may do Tampa. To be honest, I don't. How far is Tampa? Like 2 weeks away?
Yeah, Tampa is like it's the week after. It's after this week because it's
Yeah.
going to be the first and the third.
So if
Because
she
I
can
think
tighten up, I don't know who her coach is. If she can tighten up, I mean, she has a real, opportunity to do something. Um, but I'm pretty sure Hunter will jump in that show as well. That was the last time I seen her anyway. Was in so it's maintaining what you got and just fixing the little nuances of what you got going on to see if you can bring home that dub to get into the Olympia. So we'll see.
yeah, we got here, man. KLA the Wanderer. I thought you had an interview today, brother. So yeah, I
I
didn't.
thought
That's why.
so did. I thought I did too, but she had to she's busy or something and she told me
Yeah.
to let's try tomorrow, whatever. So. But other than that, it's cool.
That's
What's
all right.
going
That's all
on?
right.
Talking about
What
Chicago
up?
Pro?
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about Chicago Pro. You know, we I watched both. Well, I've watched both half of the shows. I watched the Masters part, and I watched the women's physique that was on. It was on Friday, and women's bodybuilding was on Saturday. I was kind of surprised they had both those divisions the different days. Where the last time I remember they had them on the same day together. I mean, you know, especially the next day is usually I don't know you're supposed to have the Miss International the next day or the day before, so the competitor who just got their pro card can maybe jump on and compete
Yep.
in the open show. But I don't know what's going on. Here we have a comment. And this is from my man Stephen Prey says, he says, um, strange, no Christina Mendoza. And that's the big where is Christina Mendoza? She won the show last year.
Well, she's
And
in. Here's the thing. You guys got to understand. She's in Vegas with like her and Hunter train out of Dragon Slayer. They train at the same gym, and actually, Hunter is coached by either Christina or Joey Belt in Dragon Slayer on her posing. So I think it was one of those things where she didn't want to. I thought she was actually going to do the show, but I don't think that they wanted to jump into the same show. I mean, I mean, back in the day, Flex and Chris and all those guys used to do that shit all the time, and Sean. But these days, people don't do that. So I don't know if it was a respect thing or one bowed out. Uh, but I've been seeing pictures of Christina. She looks amazing. But again, she has that issue too. She has, you turn around from the back because they have these dominant glutes and quads, but the condition's not there. So I don't know if she didn't do the show because Hunter was doing the show. I would imagine I'm being presumptuous by saying that, but that's the only thing I could think of why she wouldn't do the show is because Hunter was doing the show. So I don't know what her plans are. I thought she was going to do the show. I thought it would be really cool to see them both in there, but we didn't see that. So
well, like I said, there is, like I said, there's still a couple more shows. I don't know when the deadline for Olympic qualification ends just yet, because the Olympics is going to be October. There's the leader show over in Romania. There's a week after that is I think a week or so after that, a couple weeks after that, there's the show in the UK, which is the Europa Championships. And then next week, I believe you have the Tampa Bay Pro. And this is where I'm wondering, as you know, the list has been already set for the for women's bodybuilding for the Olympia. And there's some changes to the list. As you know, we have both the top two competitors, that is Angela Yo and Andrea Shaw. Then you have Osio Barito and Lavinia Barros.
who's the girl
And
who just got her visa denied?
oh, you mean you're talking about
Anna,
The girl who won
Anastasia?
Portugal, right?
Leonova.
Yeah,
Anna
she got a visa.
Leonova.
Yeah, Anastasia Leonova. She got a visa denied, and
Anastasia
also Regina Sanchez has announced that she's not competing this year, so she's not going to do the Rising. So she's dropped out.
Was she invited?
Yeah, she was invited.
Huh.
Yeah, she did an interview with Glenn over at the Amazon Fitness channel, and she also she posted on IG that she was moved to a new house. She feels now that with her moving and all stuff, she couldn't focus on getting ready.
Yeah.
And so I can understand that. It's important that you get your house in order before you really settle about something. Because anything, brother, sometimes life has distractions. And when you get
Hmm.
distracted, it's hard to keep your mind on your goals, especially when you want to compete.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I'm supposed to technically right now I'm supposed to be on a plane headed to Florida to go lobster diving, but we decided that it wasn't a good idea because I would miss a week of training because I was being in water and I'm 8, 9 weeks out from my show. So I'll go in October when I'm done with my show. But these decisions that you have to make, if you want to be best going into a show. So I get it.
Yeah, because it's like I said, this sport can be there's a lot of sacrifices you make. I mean, time you can spend doing something else, but you want to get ready for opportunity to compete. You want to be in your best condition, best shape. You don't want to have too many distractions. here we have a comment here. This is from a man, Warrior 2000. Shout out to Warrior. Says, "What happened with you and Christina Nally that you had a fallout?" I'm not gonna get to it, so we'll forget about it. We push out from that. So also,
You had a fallout with somebody, George? Get out of here.
yeah, it was just it was a situation that happened about. I think I told Keith about it a while back. I believe Christina Mendoza is doing Tampa. That's a possibility. If if she does Tampa, that means Hunter either has to either do the Alina show, or I don't know if that show, the Grand Prix in Anaheim, is going to be for this year's Olympic qualification. Because I said again, I don't know what's the cutoff date for Olympic qualification. Because
I don't know.
usually,
I would have to find that out because Tina's doing that show as well. So I
yeah.
don't know.
So it would be like I said, or Christina could be doing that show in Anaheim, or she can try to go all the way to Romania and do the Lena
I
Popa
don't.
Classic.
I don't think those girls will. Those girls because of the travel and because of the expense and because they have a hard time with their conditioning, which people like I remember doing my rookie season doing a show in Finland and Helsinki. And as a rookie pro and traveling and water retention and all this other stuff, it's a crazy science to go in head into that. So I think somebody like Maya, because she's experienced with it, but I don't see Heather or Christina going to that show. I mean, I think it would be a damn great battle to see them both on stage because they're so similarly built wise. If you ever look at Christina, you look at Heather, they're built almost the same. Quad dominant, great shoulders, great back. Soft on both soft behind, but that'd be a great battle between those two girls. And then Maya, if Maya chooses, she may, like you said, that would be the person I would see going over there and doing that because she's done that before, right? She's done Romania before and won Romania and qualified for Olympia. I can see her doing that, but again, I don't know these girls' financial situations or predicament to get over there because it ain't cheap. But that's by any stretch of imagination.
Yeah, I think especially if you have a family like yourself, it's the cost of traveling. It'd be worth it.
Yeah,
I remember I was talking with Daphne Holmes and her husband Keith. They were thinking about doing they want to do the Olympia Masters, but they realized that's too much money to take out of their family and their home. Just like I think you remember we were
yeah,
talking to Lori, it was like
yeah. 30 grand.
nearly 30 grand just for her training her husband to go. This is from my man Warrior. Says these new girls coming into the IFBB pro ranks is making headwaves. Martina Lopez, Ava Manillo, Hunter Henderson, and I can imagine Big Jane. I'm not gonna say her name because last name is tough. I said is going to make Mark too. Yeah, I had the pleasure of interviewing Big Jane. She's a nice lady. I know I think I saw on her social media that she's planning on doing the show in the Grand Prix show in Anaheim, because Anaheim is a lot closer to her because she lives in Hawaii, and that be do any show will be like too much out of her way. And Jane's a nice lady. She turned pro last year at the Olympia, and she has a great physique. There's also another lady who says I think she's might be planning on doing Tampa, and that is Marilyn Yee, and Marilyn and Jane are impressive young ladies. I think Marilyn, she has good conditioning because she's under Shelby Starnes, and she's working with him. And I don't know, I forget who Jane told me she's working with. Jane could, if she brings in her conditioning with her size, she could probably do well. And then I said, Maryland looks like she's doing pretty good. She's doing Tampa next week.
Nice.
Yeah, impressive. It's just like I said, Tampa is going to be that show. I think it's going to be really stacked because I was
Yep.
really surprised how stacked both Chicago and Atlanta won for Wins Physique. Because and pretty much what happened was that show is a repeat of Atlanta. Um, Again, Alaharis won for women's physique, and Anna is a impressive physique. I think we talked about before that she constantly, some say she might could, get into women's bodybuilding, but I think she might need to bring a little more size, especially around
Yep.
the legs. She has good conditioning around the back and the shoulders. She could, way figures going, she's maybe close to figure. And the top three of the show, we had same top three as was at the Atlanta, Amanda Machado, Linka Furakova, and Autumn Swanson. And, and also finishing off was Roma Skotsky, who was fifth. So this pretty much was the same lineup from
Atlanta.
yeah,
Atlanta.
yeah, pretty much. They're all impressive ladies. I'll give them that. Uh, I was probably wouldn't mind seeing somebody else, but this is what happens now. If from the information I know, uh, Zama Benta is going to do both Texas and Tampa, and I don't, and it won't be till next week till I see the list for women physique for for um for Tampa. So I feel like this Zama, if if she's in the show, she's number three. She's already qualified for the Olympia. I think it's just I don't know if anybody else get the show if they're going to beat her.
There's so many girls who knows. I'm sure somebody will jump in there, because again, everybody's trying to qualify. And let's be honest, the most prestigious show out there besides Olympia for women, in my opinion, is the Tampa Pro. It's Tim Garner puts on an unbelievable production. Everybody's there. There's tons and tons of vendors. It's held at the Hyatt, right off the ocean there. I mean, so it's a great venue, and it's gonna. And that show always has a lot of girls competing in it. I think Hunter, like I said, the last time I seen Hunter Henderson, she was second to
Mona.
what's the girl Mona. Yeah, that was the last time we seen her. So I think she, because everything that I'm reading on her social media is she's loving the process now compared to the last time she competed. So, again, I can see her jumping into the Tampa because she's already in shape and not waste a year. I don't see her going overseas to international waters, but I see her jumping into Tampa because, again, the last time she competed at that show, she was second. So why not?
Hmm. Yeah,
'Cause
it makes more sense because you don't want to if you don't if like one thing I think some people might be thinking will I know Sherry said she originally was going to planning on doing Tampa, but then I think she said in an interview that she said what she changed her mind. I think she said maybe because you remember that's where she made she made her debut in Atlanta, and she
yeah,
did Tampa. She did Chicago next, and she took second. She took second both in Tampa.
Angela, to
Yeah,
Angela Yo.
yeah, Angelio,
And then
and
second to Micaiah at Atlanta
yeah,
because I
and
was at both
then
of those shows.
yeah, and she was top. She was third at Tampa because
Yeah.
Sheena took second to Chelsea.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you was the one who called me. I was out working out. He said, "Yo, George,
Yeah.
yeah, check out the
Yeah. You
Chelsea."
gotta see this girl. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah. Because I think the thing is, I know Judy Feldman who won the show before. She won it twice, and Evie Rain, she competed that show. Is a good chance that if Zama's going to be in that show, Women's Physique, that they might, especially if she's going to do both Chicago, no, both Tampa and Texas, they might, either miss out on qualification because there's only maybe after Texas, it's like one more show before, I think
Think
by
about this. Think about this. Victoria just dropped out of the world, so they may, remember that. What was her name? The black girl who they put jumped in because somebody dropped out. But they may extend that invitation to Heather. To do Miss International. That'd be interesting.
well,
Think about that.
I think Jake might have wanted her that year before, you know, But I don't know if they're gonna do that because I don't know. It's Jake's show, so it's
Yeah.
up to him what he's gonna do. But we all know we are, like I said, still some women who are still waiting on what Sheena and also what Shauna's going to do.
Boswell.
We're waiting on them. Is Sheena's going to do Tampa? Because she did it a couple years ago where she got second to Chelsea.
Again, this is what I'm talking about. It's so unfortunate that these girls that are in great shape, that are epitome of what we want women's bodybuilding to be, are not getting in because of this whole win or you're out and not the point system. Especially again, the argument, the sake that I make is that if the numbers were way up there as far as the women bodybuilding and they weren't cut back on women's bodybuilding shows, I'd be like, fine. There's no argument to be made because you have a level, but it's not. So there's girls or that are going to be on the outside looking in, like last year, two girls who, Nikki, another girl who came in great shape. It was close between her and Christina at one show, and Makaya, another girl at another show, that just are out. So instead of the numbers being like remember Helena said it last year, they should be like 20 girls at the Olympia. There's only going to be like 15, and five girls going to be out. Maya may be one of those. Christina may be one of those. Heather may be one of those. Rashana may be one of. We don't know. So that's the unfortunate part of this whole situation is in order to get the numbers up, you have to, it's called exemptions. You make some exemptions to the rule. Like, the one year that where she is placed sixth, that she gave her honorary, I want to call honorary pass to the Olympia or World
Ira
Championship.
Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. So it can be done. They just have to do it, and sit there and say, okay, these girls. I mean, because if let's be honest, if they had a point system, a lot of these girls would be in. But like Sheena would be in already. You know, So some of these girls would be in and don't have to worry about it. But because they don't have it, some of these girls, and again, it's so now you gotta wait a whole another year. It's like the Olympics every 4 years. You gotta wait a whole another year and put your body through this shit. Some of these girls just don't want to do this anymore because clearly it's harder for women to not it's harder on their whole complete diet and training regimen compared to a guy.
Oh, we just lost my brother here. Give him a second. He'll come back. If Raheem was here, pick on him about having that Obama Wi-Fi. But yeah, that's the problem. Is the with the point systems gone, that gave opportunities for women to qualify for the Olympia. And I remember Sherry. She was nearly. I think she pretty much qualified by points, but she could have done one more show and maybe either one or probably got in. But because I think she said that something happened to her daughter, she was sick. She had to be a mom and take care of her, and that was important to her. Ala Harris, who was 2023, she had enough points where she could have got in, but she said, you know what, I didn't. I remember she was talking with Bob Ciccarello. She told Bob that I didn't want to go in by points, so she said she wanted to go in by winning. I understand you want to go in by winning, but when you had the opportunity, you should take it. And one person who name we dare not speak on my channel, that person that was at I think that same year, she had enough. I think was it I think it was a year before. She had enough points to qualify, but instead of focus on yourself and getting ready for your chance to get to Olympia, she's all over the place worrying about other people's shit. And she was there just working as a correspondent for the Female Bodybuilding channel instead of just saying, instead of just being a correspondent, I'd rather be on stage. I was like, she was like second or first in points. But then for some reason, well,
Well, here's the thing: it's like a fucking NASCAR driver. They race so many fucking excuse my language. They race so many races, and they get on points, right? So you got to qualify. Then if you're a little bit off or it's close, like last year, those shows were close. Those two what Nikki lost to and Micaiah, Nikki lost to I think Christina Mendoza, and then Micaiah beat somebody. Those shows were close. So it's like they say in our world they call it comparing apples to oranges. So if it's that close and you're that close, it's like the girl last week who won the New York Pro who said in her interview, well, I'm glad they got away with the point system because then I just go for the dub. It's nice to say that because you won. If you didn't win, you
Yeah.
know, it's like again, it's just unfortunate because the numbers are not where they need to be as far as women bodybuilding is concerned, and I guarantee you, it's going to be five good girls on the outside looking in who don't get into Olympia this year, and that's just unfortunate, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like I said, just also we had the teen collegiate this weekend, and I think we picked up maybe 4 or 5 more women for women's bodybuilding, and a bunch of women for women's physique. Don't know how many of those women in women's bodybuilding will stay in women's bodybuilding. I think one lady, she won. She was 80 years old, and and I was talking to somebody on IG how she was very impressed by this lady. Be 80 years old and coming up here and competing with some of these young competitors. But it's about what condition you want to bring. We have here a comment here from my man War 2000. He says Anna is so damn impressive. She is. She is. Also, it says Zuma Binta has a back muscles that neither Jack Kirby, Stan Lee can draw or sketch. She's literally a cartoon comic character with insane portions. She is. He says, Zama Kama Binta, for those that don't know that Kama means in Spanish is flame. I say, oh, okay. It's Kama
Well,
Kama.
and here's the thing again, and then you got the girl who not can't get into the country, not competing. So it's like, so again, there's another spot, and they're that's not gonna, they weren't gonna give it to Sherry by default. So there's another spot that's open there because she can't get into the country, which is weird to me because when you fill out your IFBB form, and maybe they just don't know that they are not allowed in the country because they say, do you have a passport? Do you have a visa? Is it valid? Et cetera, et cetera. And we've seen in the last couple of years that a lot of competitors, men and women, who are not be able to compete in Olympia because of this situation. So I think the IFBB has to do a bit more of do more of their a job of making sure when these athletes are turning in their application. I don't know how they find out if they're valid or not. So they're just not giving a spot to somebody who's not going to use the spot. It's just a waste of a Olympia qualification, right?
Yeah, I said that too. Yeah, it was a waste when I saw it. The female bodybuilding channel posted it first, and I said, "What?" I mean, and they were talking with her, and talking with you to her husband because she don't speak no English. He's that the guy.
Translator.
Any dude that has a tattoo on his face,
Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know. I don't know.
Because think about it. If not to cut you off, if Sherry wins that show, then Christina or Maya possibly wins Chicago. Then you're eliminating problems. So now these three girls are going to have to go to Tampa or overseas, or like you said, if that Anaheim show is still in the realm of Olympia qualification for this year, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, because like I said, there's 2 shows overseas. That's the Anaheim, no, the Alina show, and the show in UK. I don't know if Maya will be wanting to maybe, like I said, if the UK show is within qualification for Olympia, that'd be good. If the Anaheim show that's for next year, then well, that give you a shot for next year. You don't have to worry about competing for the rest of the year.
But do you really see Maya wanting to wait next year when she was what? She was top 10 at the Olympia this year.
Top 10
I
out of
don't
10.
see, yeah, top 10. Yeah, but I don't see her wanting to ride idle on not being in Olympia this year. I just don't see that. I mean, do you? I mean, I don't see, every year you've been in Olympia and now, you're just going to be like, oh, I'll just wait till next year, especially from what it looks like, the size, I mean, because here's the thing that I say about Maya, because the one thing that makes her unique is how tiny her waist is. So if she like, and again, I say this with all due respect because I love Maya. She talks to Tina all the time, and she's a great girl. If she can just focus on that conditioning in the back of her legs, man, it becomes so interesting. Because you already know you got Ashley who's going to be conditioning. Angela is going to be conditioned. The champ's going to be conditioned. Sherry clearly is going to be conditioned. We don't know what we're going to get from Helena yet. But again, at the end of the day, these girls that we're talking about, and again, Boswell has that unbelievable frame, but another condition thing. I know she won Master Olympia last year to get into Olympia, but it's that condition thing. And so when you look at what the judges were looking for at the Chicago Pro, it was conditioning. When you looked at New York, Ashley was crazy condition. So you got to start understanding, like, oh, got to go back to the drawing board and see what I need to do in order to get this qualification. And that's conditioning at this point in time. It's not the
Hmm.
size anymore because all these girls got size. It's about conditioning.
Yeah, because condition is also important in the physique division. That will separate you
Yeah.
from because some I've seen some ladies who look amazing, but then there might have been just something a little off.
Hmm.
The back, it could be the quads, it could be they're not as full in the shoulders. There's so much to it that people got to understand. We talk about this quite often. Here we have here, man. Warrior 2000 says Sheena Oleg already did 2 shows. Do you think she could go in to do a third? Well, we're gonna pull up something because when I saw that comment, I said, well, let me jump on Sheena's IG. And from what I've seen from Sheena, I think she might be getting ready. Don't know if she's gonna do. Possibly she might try to do Tampa because it is closer, you know. And she competed there before. And this is this is a workout video for you can see now. Look at she's really. I think she's been doing a lot of work with her back because I think Atlanta, I think the condition was a bit off.
Again,
And
another one of those girls that just, if she can come in drier as a judge, and I'm looking at her, if you can just come in, I mean, because I call her look is called a hybrid look to me. So it's like, the new look of what I love what I really want bodybuilding to be. So if again, these 3 of these girls that we're talking about, well, actually 4, Heather, Christina, Boswell, Maya, if their conditioning is better, and we're not talking about upper body, we're talking about lower body. If their conditioning is better lower body, it becomes so interesting. But that's the problem right now. And Sheena is, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. She's a great girl. I've met her, super duper cool, dope girl, great attitude, beautiful. Is what I want bodybuilding to be about. It's along with those other girls that we see. But again, if I am these girls and I'm going back and says, how do I get into the Olympia? I would say conditioning, condition. Don't worry about the size. You have the size now. You just got to come in dry and tight. So whatever your coach is doing or whatever you're doing, just focus on that, and it becomes very interesting compared to how it's been the last few weeks. Because again, Micaiah, you're not going to beat her if you don't come in conditioning. Sherry, you're not going to beat her if you don't come in conditioning. Ashley, you're not going to beat her if you don't come in conditioning. Think about the shows that we've watched, George. All these girls have Teresa. She understood it. She had to come in better shape. She was conditioned. That's why she's in Olympia this year. So when you're looking, like when I look at like the guys that I'm competing against at the show that I'm competing in, I have a vision board of what I know I need to look like and what I want to look like in order for me to be in the mix of things. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So I'm like, okay, my conditioning, my glutes, my hamstrings, my back, everything has to be on point, if not better. When you look at those guys at Chicago Pro this year, holy shit, those bodybuilders at Chicago Pro, they were shredded. And you knew right away, looking at what they were looking at, that's why Sherry won, because Sherry was dry, she was complete as I've ever seen her. I mean, she was complete in Portugal, but it seemed like she got a little bit better for Tampa because I don't know Sherry, but I know she has that competitive edge where I know she was probably pissed off about Portugal and she had a point to prove in Chicago because she wanted to win this show and boom, boom. Now she's in Olympia.
yeah, because both Sherry and Michaela, their opposing coaches is um I know her name. It's Sharonica Hinton. So they work
Hmm.
together. So they know pretty much what they're gonna bring. They're both from Florida. They both work with Sharonica. Sherry, she is a little taller than Michaela, but
Yep,
Michaela, her
not
condition
much.
is just yeah, her condition is just crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have here a comment from a man Warrior. He says, it says, I want Jessica E. Martin to compete again because I think she has potential. Miss her. So yeah, and, and I don't know because I think she lives right about the northwest. I think
Isn't
right.
that the girl who played second last year to Micaiah or to who did she play second to last year?
She played second
Christina.
to
To
Christina,
Christina. Yeah.
and
Again, and she took 2 years off, remember? She took 2 years off to get ready and then didn't qualify. So I would love to see her compete too because she's another great competitor and she's a beautiful girl and great package. And so I just point system kind of, puts a rain on some people's parades.
yeah, and I think she has good condition. If you can, like I said, her conditioning was pretty decent. Like I said, I'm not, you're a judge and you know what you see. What I see was somebody who just maybe was just a little bit better. I think
Yep.
they went with Christina because she had the look they wanted at the time. But Jessica has an impressive physique. She has look like she has a good width. This is good size. I think she's still working out. She's still training. You know, she, I think if her conditioning is on top, I think could be a good chance that maybe the next show, if she's taking this year off to work on a few things, or as I said again, there's a show in Anaheim that's a lot closer west for because especially it's about towards the end of the season. If it is a show that gets you Olympic qualification for next year, then
I mean, look at those quads, dude. That's fucking crazy.
yeah, or it's just she just just her just amazing. I mean, here was that I think there was a picture of her. Was it right before, if I could find it?
Right before the Chicago Pro last year, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. This is here. This is when I think she did a photo session, and she looked really good this one. I mean, great condition, looks look great. I mean, she has a great look to her. You know, it's always
And the
going to
one thing I
be.
love about these girls is like they're still pretty. No offense and all. Some of these girls, like but that's the one thing you get. You don't have to chop off their hair just look at their body. Some of these girls are still pretty, like to look in the face. And so that's what I love about these girls like Jessica and like some of these girls because they still got a pretty look to them as well as a unbelievable body and package. So that's what like the Linda Murray, the muscle bellies, and like again, I don't know how close it was between her and Christina, but Christina is a beautiful girl too as well. Respect to her and Joey out there in Vegas. But again, when she was at Worlds last year, it was one of those things because remember she had dropped out a couple times and then she finally did it. It's just it's just conditioning for some of these girls, and I just don't know what they're doing. Um, you know, to not understand that that's what part of this sport is conditioning. And that's cardio, diet, whatever, a mixture of both. Supplementation wise and things like that. But if any of those girls that we mentioned, any of them come in with their lower halves looking like their upper halves, fuck us, because it's going to be an unbelievable battle. And the women's sport of bodybuilding comes very interesting. So I mean, seriously,
Yeah, because that really helps. You know what you need to bring, especially when you compete in these shows. You got to bring
yeah,
in. You have to be very complete. You know,
yes.
even if you just miss one or two things, then the judge is going to say, you know what, you might just need to work on you. Maybe was too soon for you. Maybe you need more time on your prep, or it's just like I said. There's so many factors to competing as a bodybuilder. Here we got a comment from a man Warrior says Rising Phoenix is going to be stacked, and the Miss Olympia I know for sure is going to be stacked. I think we're going to have maybe a good 14 or 15 ladies for this show. It would have been maybe 16, but we all know what happened to the other lady. And also, it's a Chicago Pro 2023. I thought she should have won that, even though I love Christina Mendoza. And also, he says, what is the name of the show in Anaheim? It is the Grand Prix, and it's going to have just women's bodybuilding and fitness. The Wings of Strength is promoting that show. We know my man Big Keith, his wife's going to do the show. I know I heard one lady who said she's doing that show, and she mentioned in an interview with the female body channel, and that is I'll pull up a picture. I thought I had it here. Wait a minute. I thought I had it. Wait a minute. Give it a second. And that is Betty. Sorry, not Betty. Patty Hansen. And Patty took second, no fourth, at the Atlanta after she took a few years off. She was going through some things, battle alcoholism and stuff like that. It's tough. I know family members who went through it, and she looked really good. I mean, she really made a big turnaround compared to 2 or 3 years ago. Because she's only her and Hunter competed the same year. Hunter was doing the Tampa in the Tampa Pro, and she did Chicago Pro. Hunter took second, and what happened with Patty? She was like shaking because she was so dehydrated. She talked about she wasn't in the best condition for that show, but you really see she has really made big improvements. She has a great look, very feminine looking, great muscle. I think she said that she needed to really work on her lats and her back, but she says she's going to do the show in Anaheim. Mm-hmm.
Good.
That's it. Yeah. Also, this is from a man says, "What about Natalia Kovalova? What's going on with her? Didn't hear anything on IG in regards to what she's doing. But then again, she's not a social type person. Plus, she's not consistent. And you better not have. You better not let Raheem
Raheem,
say
yeah, he's right though. He's right. I mean, I know she's doing worlds. I mean, it's in her backyard. She's doing worlds. But again, you know, is she gonna be one of those girls? Like, and I don't mention her because I don't see her living up to the other girls that we've mentioned in this podcast today. Because he's right, the consistency is not there. But we may be wrong. But again, you're going against some girls that are in impeccable shape, and hopefully they'll bring the same package. I know last year Maya looked unbelievable at Worlds. Again, it's about waist down. She had needed to make improvements, and we thought she would do that at the Olympia, and it didn't happen. Um, so again, I just hope some of these girls go back to the drawing board and figure it out because I would love to see these girls complete because that would be really cool to see and because they're in great shape, but they're just like those one or two things when you're trying to knock out the champ or trying to knock out those one, two, three girls in Olympia. It's hard to do when you're not complete.
yeah.
You know,
And another lady who's also doing that show with is also the Sanka Dawson. So, she did women. She competed last year. She switched from women's physique to women's physique, women's bodybuilding. Natalia, it's like I said, she's not consistent. I mean, I think she got really lucky at New York because I think Julia Foray, she wasn't as in the best condition for that show. I mean, she said she was sick, and that's why she didn't do as well as she supposed to. But
What you think she need to work on?
hmm?
Sorry. And I was going to ask, like, what you think she needs to work on, Natalia?
and what Natalia is not what she needs to work on is consistency. If that makes sense, it's the best she's ever looked was New York, and I would not take anything away from her. But the consistency of that is just not there. Like when you look at Micaiah, or you look at Sherry, or you look at Angela, or you look at even Ashley coming into it, and a lot of these girls they stay consistent. They're winning shows year in and year out to get their qualification. She did it last year, and then she dropped out of. Well, she did it. What was it? New York. She won last year. She won it last year, but didn't do Worlds. Now she's doing Worlds this year, and it's like, why aren't you doing Worlds? Why? What are we missing here? Christina was doing the same thing for a couple years. She didn't
So
like she
she's
was
not
invited to Worlds.
so she's not
It's
attending shows often. That's what you mean about the consistency?
no, not the consistency of coming in the show in shape.
Oh,
So it's not about how often you do a show. It's about coming and show like when you see Micaiah or when you see Sherry or you see these girls like even Sheena this year making improvements on size and Maya making improvements on size even though they got things to work on. They're being consistent with their body of work. Does that make sense?
Uh, I'm
So their
listening,
body of
but because
so
it's a another language. Like when I'm hearing it, but I think I get what you're saying, but
well, what I'm saying, KL, is like when Micaiah goes into a show or Sherry goes into a show, these girls they go in and they win on a consistent basis. There's not
okay,
no second place finishing. And for Natalia, it was kind of like one hit wonder. You got that one hit, and then it was like that was it. So she's been in the sport. I don't know how many years now, but again, that New York Pro was her best look. Now, what I'm saying is, if she can come in consistent, and we'll see at the World Championships what she does, and then that'll tell us everything we need to know. Because if she doesn't come in shape at the World Championships, she's not going to be an Olympia. I can tell you that right now. It's not like she's going to win the worlds because Andrea's there, but she's going to have to figure out a show because she was fifth, I think, at the Olympia, which I think was a gimme because she shouldn't have beat Michaela at all. And that's just facts because Michaela conditioning was unbelievable. Um, and I think she was gifted there, but we'll just see what she comes in at because she just, to me, and I pay attention to the sport because of Tina, she just hasn't been consistent.
Mhm. Because I
So,
mean, she has to come in the shape to be able to get to that top level. Number
yes,
five was a gift. It's like back in
yes,
2022 when Hella got gifted third place. And
yeah,
to me, I like Hella, but I felt
yeah.
like Branka Djokovic deserved that third place.
Yeah,
You know, and it's just I don't know. Sometimes judges need to be more about okay, you're in the best condition, the best shape. You deserve
yeah,
that spot. Why give it to somebody who just, even though Hella took that time off because of the injury, but she did came back and competed, but she needed more time to stew a bit because she
yep,
wasn't as put together. She was, she took second year before,
yep.
but then the third spot was a gimme. Here we got here from a man, Raheem Hammond says, uh, Raheem is so it's from Warrior 2000. Sorry, Raheem is not on here, so I can say it. I'll say also, even if he was here, I don't give a damn. The tag however ate all of that, but a big bosom Russian Kim Kardashian female version
Hey,
of
he's
Ivan
hey,
Drago.
hey, Warrior. He's not on here because he's looking for that Russian bear still for art. He's out in Russia looking for that Russian bear for art so he can bring him on the show.
Like, I
what
mean,
does, go ahead, go ahead.
go ahead. Wait, but say.
No, I was like to ask him like, what does it take? I think I asked George, but I don't know you. What does it take? I'm talking to Keith. What does it take for you to be a judge? Like for someone to be a judge
So
for
you gotta,
somebody.
so as a judge, you have to test judge, and you have to do so many shows, and you have to be consistent with the regular judge's scores. So like Chad and Kim, in my region, you test judge, and I test judge for Kim. Excuse me, Chris Bongiovanni for years, and her process to do it was just all effed up, and so I just didn't was no interest because the judges that they had on the panel that were sending athletes to shows, and then they were getting murdered because they didn't know what the hell they were looking at, especially when you're at the time I was a national level competitor and I was a top three guy in my sport. So I understood the criteria in which you're looking for. But it takes test judging, being consistent on your judging, and then them offering you a spot as a judge. So because you have to, and the great thing about our region is we have most of our judges on our panel here are pros. We got a couple like police officers that test judge well. I can't remember their names, but most of the judges on our panel are either pro bodybuilders, bikini, or some sort on our judging panel. So that's what it takes.
Yeah, because a lady I know, her Alicia Florio, she's a judge now. She does NPC shows, and it takes a time for they call you up for the big leagues. 'Cause, you have to
Yep.
be consistent to judging, follow the guidelines. Yeah. A lot of stuff you got to jump hoops to do right before they ever call you up to the big shows. And then I think Steve Weinberger was the head judge for the Chicago Pro. And I think I know
And that's a
Tim.
system, and that's a good old boy system. You just don't get into those shows, and unless you're part of the big family.
Uh, here we get a comment from Man War. He says, if Natalia improves on her attitude and her condition, plus make a drastic charge changes in her posing, then she may impress me. We'll see. Yeah, I understand. Also, this is from my man Warrior. He says, "You thinking about being a judge, KLA?" He says,
No, I just
I,
trying to understand, like the process of it, like how you study it, like the physique, the conditioning and stuff, because it's like there's certain things, it's like the language to me, like a little different, it's not like other sports where I'm not no sports expert neither, but it's like with bodybuilding is different. It's like
Yeah, way
you
different.
think you
Yeah, I
get
get it.
something, but you don't really actually get. Like even with the point system, it's like I'm trying to understand like the amount of shows that you do, you able to qualify. Like if I'm saying the right thing.
yeah, because the point system, that was the thing that helped some competitors, especially those ones that know that there wasn't going to, even if they placed in the top three or top five of the show, but there
Yeah.
wasn't going to be. If you think about it, if you have someone like Andrea Shaw competing at a show, or you have someone like Sheriff Pyami, or you have somebody like any of these top level competitors competing, and they win, and then you get the points that count, that helps you get, if like this is how it's, because each tier shows have number of points they have. Like, okay, like if Wins by Ben was still at the Arnold Classic, then you get, like, I think for second, which
It's a
is gonna
top
be,
tier show. It's a
yeah,
top tier show, so you get the most points.
yeah, like the New York Pro, the Arnold Classic, a couple others. And then you have so many other shows that they have so many numbers, but that's not as much. Like something like I'm gonna think about Pittsburgh, or no, Pittsburgh, I think it's top tier, or something like they would say, I would say the triple O, it will be considered top tier, or something like Portugal, or something like there's a show coming up in Mississippi, that would be considered top tier because you only get maybe so many points out of it if you set the point system. But now I think some competitors say they like the fact that you don't need a point system anymore, where you just have to come in shape, win the show, and that's it. And if you're not in shape or the condition to win the show, then you're out. So that's why I think one of the reasons why you're not seeing so many competitors competing like it was first of the year is they don't
Yeah.
have that chase anymore. You don't have to, have to chase points anymore. That means they have to. So say, you know what? Let me take the time to sit and maybe work on a few things, work on my conditioning, bring in the sizes that they told me that I need to bring in, and then I'll do a show. But
So it's more like a top. They have to reach a top tier show to with the point system.
mhm. So
Is
and
that the
sometimes though,
simple way to that's the simple way to understand that?
well, like I say, if you do top tier shows, you get enough points from the top tier shows that gets you into Olympia. But
Okay.
with no points anymore, that means, like I said again, you have to win a show just to win it.
Oh, all
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
you're
and,
out.
and yeah, and all these other competitors that come in, then they're just sitting at home afterwards because and then you see, like I said, all the money put into getting ready, prepping, all that stuff, and then you don't have a point system, and then you have to win a show. It's tough. You know,
That's so sad. It's so sad.
it's the business thing. They use the excuse because of they say that because so many competitors show, but think about it, it's the promoters. You got to think
Yeah.
about it. When you have promoters that have like 100 bikini shows and like maybe 100 men's open shows, yes, you have a lot more competitors. But when women's bodybuilding barely has 10 or 12 shows, and then you're only like maybe 10 or 12 competitors at the Olympia, while you look at the other divisions where they have maybe 20 or more competitors. You can't blame that on you know so many the point system, because you got to think about it. With the point system, only top three competitors can get into the Olympia. If you already have maybe 20 points, next person has 15, the next person has 10, they're in. That's three people for each division. That's 30 people. Where so again, you have promoters that have like, you have shows we just have one division. You might have men's classic, you might have physique, you might have bikini, you might have open men's bodybuilding, and then they don't have any other divisions. Then the problem is not the point system, it's the promoters.
Mm.
They're the ones who are getting so many of these shows because they can get sponsorships. Like one example is I was talking to somebody how they mentioned how at the Atlanta, how wellness had got $4,000 in prize money, while women's bodybuilding physique got I think
2,500.
2,500, because there was somebody promoting the prize money for wellness. Wolfpack. Here we get here from my man Warrior. He says, "Man, I miss the point system." A lot of ladies, there's some ladies that do. Others say, "Nah, we're in the point system," but you never know. That could be the year if you were just shy by a few points and get you to Olympia, then so yeah,
They're going.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like my man Keith, he's on the road right now.
Got to go to the chiropractor. Got to get fixed. You know.
uh,
Road again.
well, appreciate you, brother. Take care of yourself. All right.
So I'll see you guys next week.
All
All
right.
right,
We'll
man.
see you next week. All right. But yeah, there's so much to bodybuilding that people you got to really understand the sport, and that's why when I do my interviews, I ask questions, I pay attention to what's going on. You have to be aware. But as we it said, something I saw, if anybody who follows bodybuilding in general, especially as content creators, something I saw some news, and this is something that was a big surprise to me. The female bodybuilding channel, as you know, they're always promoting and talking about women's bodybuilding. They do interviews. I know they interview last week with Patty Hansen. I watched the interview, and also they post stuff. The female bodybuilding channel is taking a break, and that
Oh yeah.
shocked me. Yeah, they posted this. It posted this IG, and it says goodbye. We're taking a break, and I don't know what's going
What you
on.
mean like that? Like they they never took a break before?
Not that I can remember. They've been on for a while. So this is what's posted in the Female Bodybuilding Channel. It says the Female Bodybuilding Channel is officially taking a break. With unrivaled content in the game, we are taking a break. No DMs will be opened. No stories will be made. No posts or reshares will be made. Potential sponsors reach out on email, link in the bio. We will be back, but when it's not known, stay hungry and stay driven. Goodbye from the Female Bodybuilding Channel, and they're using a picture of a Monique Jones. Women's bodybuilding for life. I'm like, what's going on? Because they did posted some pictures here. One here is a young lady. Her name is Amazana. She just got her
Yeah,
pro card in a
I
show in
seen that.
Colombia. Yeah,
Yeah.
and congratulations to her. We have another new women's
Is that her
bodybuilding
real
pro.
name, Amazona?
It's
Or that's
I
what
can
she call herself?
She calls herself Amazana. I don't know how to pronounce her name too well.
Oh,
I don't want to chop it up. But this is from her performance at the it was show in Colombia. It was a pro am show, and it was a pro qualifier for her. And she
yeah.
looks really impressive. I mean,
Yeah, I
uh,
like her. She's an
yeah, I
impressive
mean, yeah,
bodybuilder.
she did a show. She did the Portugal Pro. She was competing in the amateur Olympia in Portugal last month. Because there was not enough competitors for women's bodybuilding, she didn't get a pro
Yeah.
card. And then she's from, I think she's from South America. I think she's from Colombia, I believe,
Okay.
and she did this show and she looked really impressive. I mean, she might need a little few
More
things that she
diet.
need working on.
Yeah.
Her
Diet culture.
conditioning, yeah, her conditioning might need to come in a little better.
I'm just
Uh,
reading the Spanish. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
yeah, because I don't speak Spanish. I read Spanish, so she looks really impressive. But I think if she brings in conditioning and that will help. She has a good amount of size. Could she see in women's bodybuilding? Maybe. Or, where physique is going, you know, she could be physique, but I think she's truly women's bodybuilding. Yeah. So, congratulations to her. Now we have a new pro in women's bodybuilding. When she make her debut, maybe next year. Yeah, I think it'd be too soon to make a debut now because she needs to work on her conditioning,
Yeah.
come in a little tighter because, there's not too many shows for Olympic qualifications out, especially down. I think there was a show. There was a show in Brazil. They used to have physique, but they didn't have physique and women's bodybuilding 1 year. But then they dropped women's bodybuilding because they only had two competitors, and then they decided to drop women's physique. That's a show in Brazil. I think it's this week. This show they don't have any individual stuff. I'm not going to talk about that show. If they had women's physique, I would talk about it, but they don't have that. They have maybe figure, but I don't know. I looked at the list. It was figure they had on the list, and I don't know a lot of the figure competitors. Um, this is from a man Warrior says, I would have made things so easier for these athletes, but Tyler Mannion and Jim Mannion insist on taking it away. I understand, that's the thing about, they're the ones who run the IFBB and APC. Chris Bumstead was 25 million followers. That's crazy. Just notice how many he has on IG. He is officially the most popular IFB pro athlete out of them, surpassing Kai Green and Daniel Bailey. That's pretty good. Also, he says, C-Bum is more popular than all the bikini IB pros. Amazon is hot. Wow. And also, he says, who was the woman who won the Miss International Women's Bodybuilding at the Chicago Pro? Well, I posted her name is Kaylin Heisteller. I mentioned it earlier. Before we started the live stream. Warrior. I think David interviewed her. I think he did. I don't know. It's been a while, but we'll put up the picture if you haven't seen her, because she won. There was five competitors. One lady I'm talking to. One lady I'm going to interview her this coming weekend who competed at the show. I was hoping my friend Yella May would come on here, but she had to work and she couldn't make it. Because she was there. She competed in women's middleweight division. This is Kaylin, and now she's IB Pro. And this is why I heard from some sources that she turned down the invitation for the Rising Phoenix because when you win the overall for Miss International, you get invited to the Rising Phoenix. And I think she turned it down. And this is, it's been a while since I think the last couple of years, you had some ladies who won it, but they didn't compete at the Rising Phoenix. And you had Taylor Rogge was the last person last year who got the because it was like only her. It was supposed to be her and another lady competed at the same time, but then the other girl dropped out, and then Taylor, she got the pro card. But she's very impressive. I felt like one of the ladies deserved the probably. I feel like it's me personally. I think she was one lady who's competed at the show. Her name is Leslie. I thought she would more look like women's bodybuilding, but then she had a little wardrobe malfunction. I don't know if that affect how she was going to place at the show. I think they were looking at conditioning. I think there's one lady from Brazil who competed at the show, and she looked really impressive because one thing is I think she needs to work on uh just like some of the other girls. She had to work on conditioning. Conditioning, as I said again, is always going to be the factor when it comes down to women's bodybuilding and women's physique. And if you don't bring in that conditioning, you don't come in tight, you come in all together, then the judge is going to go with the person who has that conditioning, who has that look, who has those good, strong muscle bellies that they like. Um, Here's from a man, Warrior says, who, or said, sorry, I said that, sorry. Also he says, whoever wins the Miss International Women's Bodybuilding in Chicago automatically is invited to the Rising Phoenix. Right? No, like I said again, yes, she invited to, but she decided to turn it down. So she's not going to compete at the Rising Phoenix. So yeah. So other than that, Chicago was a pretty good show. I enjoyed watching it. Shout out to all ladies who also competed in the Masters. Patty Corbett, she competed the Masters. She was lady 6, 7 years old. Patty looked really impressive. I felt like, maybe I don't know. She won in women's. I think she won women's over 55 and women's over 50 in the Masters. But I don't know. Like I said, the judges. I don't know why she didn't place a little higher in the open show. One lady who I interviewed, Maria Monica, she took fifth. She looked really good. And I think I talked to her, Maria. She's planning on doing the show in Anaheim because she lives in California. It's a lot closer for her to do a show there. I thought she was going to do that show instead of doing Chicago, but she decided to do Chicago. And but I hope her best of luck for her and also for all the
How is
competitors.
she doing Chicago?
Hmm?
How's she doing Chicago?
Well, Maria took fifth place, and and I'm gonna pull it up here because she looked really good because she last competed at the New York Pro, and that's been about a couple of months, and she looked really good at Chicago. I think conditions a little better. I'm surprised she didn't do better in the Masters class because Patty Hinson, no, not Patty Hinson, Patty Corbett won a Masters class, but she looked really good. I think maybe like I
You know,
said, get her. Hmm?
she looked like a physique competitor to me. I don't know. Like she's not
No,
she
she.
don't look that big.
Well, like I said, most of these women's bodybuilding are not that big. It's not always like again, what the sport's going to is not much about size anymore. It is
Oh,
about
okay.
conditioning because
Conditioning. Okay.
yeah, condition is important now. That's why they want women's bodybuilding to get away from the huge. You're not going to get the Anastasia
No, I
Kobalevas
mean
or
she looked nice. Like don't get me wrong. I'm just saying like, she don't look like that huge. She looked kinda like she looked like she could compete in physique. Or.
well, she could. I think she could have done this because one lady who's competing in the Masters is Masters. You can double dip. You can do
Yeah,
both Masters women's bodybuilding and Masters women's physique because you gotta
yeah.
pay for entries. But
Man,
it's
maybe I
just
pay for that
something.
shit.
Yeah, that's things. Also, here's from a man says, "Will you watch the live stream in Tampa when it comes?" I probably will, because I hope it's not too expensive. Because I didn't mean to pay for three. I thought they probably put a one plan, but then I didn't know if I thought about it. Because if I knew that women's physique and women's bodybuilding were on separate days, I would have got the live stream for the Masters. I would have just skipped the Masters. So I think that's what I'm going to do for the Tampa. I'm going to skip the Masters. You know, um, and I hope they do have women's bodybuilding and women's physique on the same day. Don't have it because I think the Tim Gardner he'll stretch those shows out 2 or 3 days. If we have it on the same day, I want to pay. Okay, I watch women's physique one day, then watch women's bodybuilding the next day. I watch both divisions on the same day. I hope he has it like that. It just crossed my fingers.
What's up? You ain't got nothing to say?
Okay, let's say, well, like I said,
Oh,
it was a good show. I enjoyed it, and I was hoping, like I said, my friend Leah May would come, but I know she sent me a text earlier that she's working. I thought she
yeah,
might
I
come in and
seen
give her,
a clip of her performing and stuff.
yeah. And I was hoping she'd come on and give us experience because but we appreciate that shout out. I shouted out on my social media also. She's a great lady. I hope she does another show. I was going to ask her if she's going to plan to do another show. There is North America's that's coming up in a couple of weeks, and she competed there about a couple of years ago. Or she can do there's a show coming up this week. It's U.S. Championships, but it might be too soon for her. She needs to work on making improvements that she needs to make for after she got her teeth from Chicago. I know one lady I talked to, she's going to do the USA Championships that's coming up, I think, this Saturday. And I think I'm going to ask her if she's going to do either. I'm going to ask her if she's going to either do the North Americans. There's the Olympia. That's in, maybe she'll want to sit there, wait for that long prep. Or she might just stop and just start her prep for nationals. I mean, that's the big, those are the three shows that can qualify you for the Olympia, that qualify for your pro card for this year, because they just had a show the same weekend as Chicago, which was a team collegiate and masters. And I know a couple ladies who competed that show, but they didn't get their pro cards. So, well, like I said again, folks, we appreciate the time you've given us to listen to us. Shout out to my man, Big Keith Williams, take it easy, brother. Shout out to my man here, KL the Wanderer, shout out to Boy 2000, Stephen Prey, who came through. Appreciate y'all who watched this video live stream. Give your thoughts, critique. If you, like I said again, these really, if you get a chance, watch one of these shows. I know, check them out, and give your thoughts on it. I mean, we can use your point of view out there who follow my channel, and also we buy these pay-per-views that help the competitors. I think it's talking about maybe doing a survey. I think David's mentioned, he said doing a survey about what shows you want to see at the shows. I would like to say I would like to see shows like most definitely on Sports Classic, Women Wins Bodybuilding. We know he's not going to do it, but that'd be great for the he does that. Give them a opportunity to represent themselves, and also just really don't use the excuse that it's not as popular like it is, but it's starting to grow. If you're going, people are following. It's just about time. Here, this is from a man where it says Maria Monica is stunning with her red hair, look like the older, beautiful red Sonia with muscles. Also, he says, I'm amazing how some women are over 50 and 60 and still look so damn beautiful and sexy. Well, let them know that. Don't tell me that. Let them know that. They can appreciate that. So, folks, thank you for coming through. Appreciate y'all thoughts and your opinions. And Chicago, shout out to Tim Gartner, one of the few promoters that still have women's bodybuilding at his shows. He has a show in Atlantic. He has Tampa. That's coming up next weekend. He has a show he has a couple of shows, but they don't have women's bodybuilding or physique. One is in San Antonio, and he has a show in Atlantic City. Not Atlantic City. It's in Fort Lauderdale. It's called the Atlantic Coast. He has physique, but doesn't have women's bodybuilding. Maybe if you want, like I said, I'm gonna leave. I think Tim Gartner's link in, if you want to reach out to him and say maybe next year, because one thing is they need people who are willing to put sponsorship for women's bodybuilding, because that's what that helps. If you can pay the sanctioning fee, put the money for the prize money, sponsor it, maybe someday we can have women's bodybuilding at a show like Atlantic Coast. So the link is in the live stream. You can want to reach out to Tim and maybe, hey, if you're someone who's a fan of bodybuilding, especially women's bodybuilding, and you have the means in the way, and you want to be a sponsor for women's bodybuilding at the Atlantic Coast show, reach out to him, have a plan, tell him you're going to cover the sanction fee, the prize money. They would jump on it, because if it's not money out of his pocket, because it's not the promoters that pay for all this stuff. Really, it's coming from the sponsors. If you're a sponsor and want to sponsor women's bodybuilding, at that show, that really helped. So here we have
thinking about going to the OCB show.
Yeah.
Like in August.
I think go check it out. I mean, yeah. It's like I say,
Yeah,
I would love.
just have to. I mean, it's not too expensive. It's like $67 to. It's like one is at 10:30 a.m. So I just have to yeah, I have to see what I can do. You know.
Well, like I say, you can find the time, come in and, check it out, and watch it and give your thoughts. And you want to come out here and give your thoughts about it, you're welcome. Because like I said, I would like to say, I'm hoping, like I said, I need to call this guy about my car. I talked to him the other day. He said he's going to pull it out and get it worked on. I should have talked to him yesterday, but, not yesterday, Friday, but, that day I came home, I was tired, I was wear out. I was doing laundry, doing a little shopping. Sometimes you get home, you
Yeah.
just flop, and, everything runs in your mind, especially you get over 40, just everything goes back in your head. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we need more people to really give some attention to these women in the sport of bodybuilding, be it OCB, be it NPC, be it BCA, be it IFBB. They deserve this attention. We got to hear from a man, uh, shout out to the man, so Warrior says, Rising Phoenix is 33 days away. Yeah, I might even see if my budget's still good, I might watch that show. It's a one
So
day
what
show.
I got a question for you. Like, so since the female bodybuilding channel, like, what that means for you? You gonna step up, or you know?
Well, I'm gonna do as much. I'm gonna do as much as I can with what I got. Like I said, I don't have the equipment and technology like JB does because JB mostly does a lot of the
Yeah.
editing and film work. You know, I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to reach out to ladies who want to do interviews. I got a couple. I got one coming up Wednesday. I got one coming up a Sunday. I'm trying to get some ladies on here, and it's about maybe giving the time and maybe get ready and wait for them. Other than that, I'm just going to do the best I can. I mean, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try to compete with you about your channel because, like I said, I don't have the means
No,
or way
no,
to do.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I'm just saying, like, for
No, that piss
you,
me off. No, that piss
no,
me off.
no, no, for you, like, since they're not, they're taking a break. Like, you, are you gonna step up, or I know sometimes you get some information from them and stuff, so I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna do the best I can what I got because, like I said, they're more
Yeah.
deeper into the sport than I am, and and they have more people willing to reach out to them than they reach out to me. But it's all I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got.
All
I think it's like especially the overseas, they do most of a lot of stuff overseas stuff, and I'm not over there, so that's the one thing I can't focus much on. Here this is from a man where it says JB can be funny. Yeah, JB's pretty good. And JB comes in here sometimes. We do live streams. Shout out to JB. And also AJ is always funny as hell. Yeah, and he's always picking on JB. Quit picking on JB. Quit that. So anyway, we're gonna say we hope they come back. Maybe they probably try to come back before the Rising Phoenix, cross our fingers, or the Olympia, because that's the 60th anniversary Olympia. Just the biggest Olympia of the year. They wouldn't want to miss it. And also, this is from my man Warrior says, "Wish all FBBC well. We do wish them too. So thank you guys. You are one of the few content makers out there who give women's attention outside of myself, KL, and also Feel Body Forum, the Go Figure Pro podcast. That's Lisa Sege and Rose Black. Also his hardcore female bodybuilding. They do content. He does interviews also. He does a lot. He's kind of like he does a lot. Because he's in Europe also. He does more. He's interviewed some couple American competitors, but he does more with Europeans and also a couple others out there. So keep doing what you work. We're trying to make as much as we can with the female bodybuilding out. We'll do as best we can. That's all we can do. No more than that, no more or less. So, folks, I'd like to thank y'all for coming through. Appreciate the time you've given me and my guests. If you like to say it's gonna be like I said, Tampa is we got next, so I'm gonna have a little dry spot. But I've already talked to somebody. I got something we got planned, so I'm gonna reach out to them, see if they're interested in doing it, and we have a subject for next Monday. Can you believe it? I'm just about 3 live streams away from being at 200. I mean, I should be a lot more, but a while back my computer broke down and I had to get it fixed. So yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. It's just like I said, yeah, I enjoy doing this, and sometimes you got to love what you got to do. I know it can be expensive depending, like especially I think with them they were traveling, they went to Portugal and other shirt, and that might have been an effect of it. Expense and they use sponsorship. I know man Glenn worked with them, and helped them out, but I hope they do come back. We do need content makers like them giving these ladies a voice.
Mm.
So, hey, folks, I appreciate you coming through. Thank you for listening to us. Congratulations to Shira Priyami winning the Miss Bodybuilding, getting her second Olympic qualification. Congratulations to Anna Harris, also getting her second, who already won the show, but she's already Olympic qualified. And congratulations to all the competitors who were at the Chicago Pro, and best of luck to you in your future. And reach me on our way George page, aka the Emperor of Female Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I am out. Have a good afternoon, good evening, and a good night.